Nations are we're beyond happy, right? It's beyond happy. We're mass producing all of the most promising candidates already, so that on day one, that means that we think we have the answer, otherwise we wouldn't be making that bet. It's a big bet. So that on day one, the day we get it approved, it will be available immediately, doctor. Is that correct? So if we get it approved, now normally this process would take, to get up to where we are now, 3 years, 4 years. I've heard numbers like that. And we did it in literally a matter of weeks. It's a really incredible thing. One of the other things, I was talking about drugs in the pipeline for getting drugs approved, and it does cost billions of dollars, and it would be 12 years, 15 years. And under Dr. Hahn and Scott, before you, worked very hard, Scott Gottlieb, we've got that down to a number that's less than half, and we're going down further. We have to make sure it's safe. And right to try came out of this whole thing, where we have a drug that we think is good. Matt Gaetz helped with this and getting it approved, and Mark, when he was a congressman. But we had great help from certain people. But right to try is incredible. We have a drug that works, but it's got to go through this very long and very detailed process for purposes of safety and to make sure it's good. If somebody's terminally ill, very sick, person not going to make it, person very sick, we pass legislation, which they've been trying to get for 42 years. It's called Right to Try, where people sign a document that if it doesn't work out, they're not suing the drug company, they're not suing the insurance company, and they're not suing our country. And instead of traveling, if they have money, they travel to Asia, and they travel to Europe, they travel all over the world in the hopes of finding a cure. They're terminally ill. If they have no money, sadly, they go home with no hope and they die. We have now a program, Right to Try, finally happened after, I guess, as long as you've been a doctor, long before you became a doctor, right? They've been trying to get this. But we now have a program where they can try these really promising medicines, and you have no idea how successful this has already been. It's incredible. And one of the things that really came out of it was the biggest problem for the drug companies. They didn't want it because they didn't want it in their sample, because people that are that sick, they don't want it in the sample. And so we created a separate sample so it doesn't hurt them. But one of the things that's come out of it is, if it works, what is a better testing formula than that? Somebody that's terminally ill and all of a sudden makes it. And we're having examples of that. It's been incredible. It's been an incredible program. I hope somebody's going to be able to write a story about it, because it's been one of the things that I'm very proud of it. I love the name even, Right to Try. They have the right to try a drug that's not going to be available for 2 years or 3 years. They're terminally ill. Before you'd say, well, they're terminally ill, yeah, but we don't want to give them a drug that's going to hurt them. Well, they're going to die. And they didn't want to give them a drug because they thought it might be dangerous. And perhaps in some cases it may be dangerous, but we're having tremendous, tremendous success with that program. Proud of it. Additionally, my administration has secured 90% of the world's supply of the drug remdesivir, which is having great impact for the United States, and research continues daily on a lot of promising treatments, as I said. As we take these historic actions, we're joined today by Americans who have already benefited from the steps my administration has already taken to reduce the cost of health care and prescription drugs. We're going to have a big health care bill that we're going to be putting up very shortly, and it's going to be very complete. And today, what we're doing on prescription drugs, and again, we'll have to see what happens on August 25th. We'll either do the favored nations or not, depending on the drug companies. But what we're putting up in a very short period of time on health care will be incredible. We have another one coming on immigration, tremendous bill on immigration. And it'll be, I think, something that nobody thought we would be able to get. So that'll be great. Paul Madden is a senior citizen who relies on insulin every day. He was paying a fortune, everything, to get it. Paul, if you could, I think Paul's in the audience, and if you could please come up and say a few words about your experience. Thank you, Paul.